brand is Mola Christian. The brand I started about 2 years ago. I've been up and doing about the brand, up and coming about the brand. I showcased in a couple of shows last year, and I've been getting clients for like two years ago, and even before that, because even before I really started Mona's Love, I had actually been doing bow ties, and then I sell that to people. And I also love making bridal accessories as well, head fascinators, bridal fans. But as at 2 years ago was when I really started taking up Mona's Love as a brand. I got tags, I got logo, and all that.
What inspires you as a fashion designer?
Culture plays a lot of role in my inspiration, and Western fashion. So Western fashion, European fashion. I mean. What happens is I pick a lot of inspiration from Balmain, Dior, so many of them. I mean, you all know that. One brand that really inspires my work many times is Alexander McQueen, because his brand has a lot to do with storytelling, and his life story is really something I can always relate to. Yeah, I could always relate to the pain he feels because he expresses that in his work, and that's something that happens in my work. The street also inspires me a lot. The street inspires me a lot. That's why I always tell people I like to take a walk when I want to do the new collection.
How can you describe your category of fashion?
For me as a fashion brand, I don't stick to one particular category. Right now, I'm very versatile about, and as time progresses, I want to go into like every one of them, because the point is to make income. One of the very best categories to really venture in the fashion industry that brings a lot of money is ready to wear, because people are always interested in just picking a cloth and buying it rather than having to wait for weeks or months before it's ready. So basically, I see myself as a versatile person, and I want to see myself going to everything. Right now, I do avant-garde, uh, high fashion, streetwear, and I also do haute couture sometimes too. So it really depends on what I'm going for. Sometimes I'm going for a fashion show and I decide to do streetwear, or I decide to do haute couture, or I decide to just go avant-garde for a photo shoot. It really depends on the situation, because I don't like limiting my creativity to any category of any sort. I don't want to keep doing the same thing, because basically I find myself interested in, like, even in my style as a person, you will see me dressing up like like an office man doing a 9 to 5, so nice, and you're like, wow, you really know how to dress. And you can see me another moment dressing like a thug, guys. I always see a thug, wearing crazy jeans, and they have an idea of how a thug should look. Well, yeah. So, and you could also see me another time all suited up, or you can see me another time wearing a masterpiece, and that's basically how I also rule, even as a brand. And I'm flexible based on the situation. What do we want to do? We want to have a photo shoot, and it's a concept. Okay, then we either go avant-garde, or we go haute couture, or go high fashion for that, or we want to have a video shoot. Most times when we want to have a video shoot, like a music video, it's always better to go avant-garde, because people always like something that has high visual weight, and that's what you can find in avant-garde. So basically, I'm very versatile about it.
One thing I realized in my development is that before I really was taking a lot of interest in fashion illustration than even the actual construction itself. So then I always felt it's very possible to get exactly what you sketch. Yeah, like that's always the way. Sketch it and exactly what you get. But as I kept growing on and on, I figured out that you sketch first, then eventually when you start producing, you change a lot of things. but it will still sync with the sketch at the end of the day, because the sketch was the starting point of the process. So because the first process you might not call the starting point is the one that happens mentally, when you are like thinking of what you want to do with this design. Most times how it happens to me is I first get fabric. I could just go to the market and I see this nice purple beautiful fabric and I buy it and I keep it. And then for the next 2 weeks I may be staring at the fabric and wondering what to sketch. And then the fabric inspires me somehow and I do something. Sometimes it's not the fabric, sometimes I'm outside and I see a particular cut or a style somewhere. And I remember I have this fabric at home and I now come up with something different.
Have you faced any challenges from your parents or siblings regarding your fashion style and your fashion crafts?
I'm not comfortable to go. Anytime I'm going home, I'm always anxious. Anytime I get my mom's calls, it always gives me anxiety.
But do you think you should talk to them about it, like the way they make you feel?
I've tried. It will not lead to anything good. If just talking about my hair, trying to make her to accept my hairstyle. I've tried having a simple conversation about leaving my hair flat, that's what I wanted. And she started telling me like, none of our child will do that or something. And so of course, I don't think it will work to say, so mommy, this is who I am, or tell her this is how I should. If my mom says she's coming to Ekpe today, I will have to pack a lot of things from here and hide them. My jewelry, I have to hide it, I have to hide this bracelet, I have to hide some clothes. And she might not see, for example, this is not the mannequin, I don't think I want her to see it. Because she'll say, oh, this net is exposing this and that. And that's my problem as a person. So I don't think they are ready for it yet. Maybe when the time is there, it won't be a thing I have to tell them about, they will see it. And I won't be apologetic about it. I'll just act like it has been happening or they knew before. Because the truth is that they definitely know. That's the crazy thing about, I remember someone was saying on a video that our parents know us, that we should not just deceive ourselves.
They just choose to know.
Yeah, they choose to be ignorant about it. Or they choose to be ignorant about it, like just not face the reality, right? And that's a Nigerian issue, basically, for me. I feel Nigerian parents have quite tried to avoid a lot of things. Bringing some hard conversations, some hard-to-hard talks. And I think they don't have the patience for it, and that's why. So they definitely have a clue, because, every time my dad looks at me, he still feels I'm a rebellious child. Like the last time I went home, I too close to them, and my mom was questioning me, am I plaiting my hair again? Because she thought it was full, and she was like, why don't I cut it back or plait it? And I just told her that, no, I'm not plaiting it. Of course, I don't understand that, because a picture surfaced again. My sister posted a picture of me when I braided my hair last time. Next thing, started sending messages on the Bible to me that the eagles of the valley will pluck out the child who decides to disobey his parents. And I was just like, I just kept quiet all through when she was sending messages. Then I told my sister that what did she do? Then she told me she was excited and she didn't realize that she had not blocked them. And she posted a picture of me. She now told me she had told her that it's a good picture because they love before. And then 2 days later or something, she apologized. My mom apologized and she's sorry that. Why didn't I say anything? I thought I didn't know what to say because it's an old picture. Because my sister told me she told her. So when I got home and they saw my full hair, she was questioning that I should please tell her. And I'm like, why are you begging me to tell you? It's not like if I tell you to make things better. So I just told her. My dad was like, that she should not worry about me, like I'm a rebellious child or something, like I've been a terrible child or something like that.
Well, that is a very playful somebody, and that guy, the thing that made me that got me closer to him was his creativity. I'm not going to lie, that time when I went to his house that time, and when I saw things I made, I was like, I made this. It will make something again. I made this. I'm like, oh boy, you're good, though. So it's just creative. That's interesting.
How will you describe his style of dressing?
Style of dressing. Okay, should I say I'm one of those people that at first when I saw him, I was thinking that why this guy be always overdressed, like what's the reason? But when I get to know him, I now see that okay, his style of dressing is just this standard type of dressing. It's not like everybody's wearing hoodie and t-shirts. I also know.
even if it's wear singlet and maybe bra or something, if you wear it's just to stand out. Like he just like to stand out.
The first thing is the industry is very unready for up and coming designers. It's very unwelcoming because in the Nigerian fashion industry, everyone is just pushed by trends like too much. Nobody really wants to stand out. Everybody is just talking about making money, and they believe the only way to be commercial is just by being indulgent. Nobody wants to like try something new. A lot of people also think you can just make money through fashion as far as you can make clothes. One main challenge for me has actually been finances to pull off the I want to pull off, because like they always say fashion is a very expensive business to go into. If you don't have passion for it, there's no way you can stay long into it. So, yeah. Like my family is one of my big challenges. God have made a lot of things easier for me, basically.
Growing up as a child, do you have anything that you saw that you just feel that okay, I must be a designer or I would like to be a fashion designer?
Growing up as a child, in my family, my dad is actually dresses. My dad dresses up, not so much like he's a very classic man. Yeah, he dresses too. He has taste. It's not just about just wearing clothes. He also likes wearing nice clothes. Then I had sisters who were learning tailoring, and of course, I always seen myself loving fashion so much. Right from childhood, loved wearing bow ties. I love art. When I go to weddings, I always want to see the wedding gown. That's what I'm about, and that's basically where the whole drive started from. But I never knew it was going to become fashion designing. Like I said, till I got to GSS3 when I started sketching fashion illustration, and that was where I started building on the passion step by step, and this is where it has brought me. Spending about more than 5 years learning the same trade over and over again, and it's been crazy, yeah. But I think it's worth it. So I'm Mona. I'm a fashion designer and a freelance fashion designer, art educator, and a fashion stylist. I'm also a fashion consultant. Whatever, I do everything in fashion, and I live fashion as a lifestyle, not just as as a job. Or I don't just do it as a job. I also live in it as a person, and I see fashion as something that I need in my day-to-day life. As my confidence booster. Personality expression, self-expression, storytelling in my everyday life. It just makes life more beautiful. I mean, it's also a means of escapism for me. When I'm actually facing tough times, you don't have to see it in my dressing. I dress well when I'm even but when I look at my dress and I'm having a bad time, it makes me feel better. And that's why I see it as, escapism. It's just keeping it real.
If you were to give your younger self advice while starting up fashion design, what will you tell yourself?
Fashion design takes time, and to be good also takes time. Because when I started and I wasn't getting the traction I wanted, and I was missing people, and they were not even so interested. I was like, I thought I was good enough, and I thought that it was enough for people to be so interested in my work. That was one thing, and I wished back then I knew I wasn't doing enough. Because if I knew, I probably would have not felt so much pressure. That was one thing. My younger self, when I started fashion designing, it's not like it was that bad, but definitely wasn't as good as now, because I've learned a lot. And I've seen, this is why probably we're not getting the traction I wanted before. And I wish I knew before that I had a lot more work to do. I might have focused on that long time before. But I was focusing more on letting people know who I was, which was not really working out as well. So, how do you feel working with model or styling models? What are your experiences with model who wear your designs? The interesting part for me is when I'm working with models or anybody at all. Whatever is wearing the design is part of the inspiration of the design. It's not just a sketch that came from my brain. It's also a sketch that came from seeing the person. And I think it's been a lovely time seeing people wear my work. It's been interesting because every piece I make is made with love once again. So the whole time I'm making the outfit, I will be thinking of the person. I watched the YouTube video about John Galliano was viral this year due to the artisanal collection he dropped for Mason Margiela. That was the first. I think that was the first collection, the first couture collection this year, and the collection was mind blowing. Yeah, so I had an interview with students, and they spoke about it. It was an assignment given to the students to come with objects that inspired them, because that was one thing that John Galliano also had in his workspace. There was this bunch of objects that inspired him in his work. And when I saw that, I felt like like I've done it before, like it was me that started that, because I do love objects a lot, aesthetically pleasing objects. I love the art, interior decoration, interior design, and I realized that truly objects do inspire your design, and I picked that habit. Decided if I see something beautiful that's like probably something I'm not expecting or I've not seen before, and there's a way I can get it, I should get it. So when working, it could inspire you in a way, rather in its shape, its color, its texture, its design, or just the beauty itself is just giving you a mood, and setting a certain mood that when you're working, you like you're not where you are just because the objects are there. It's not like the objects are a god or something, but like because they are it's not just random, right? There are objects that definitely have a story behind them, or they have a certain look to them. It could also be something that has like a remarkable memory with it, that you just pick it up and like every time you look at that object, it reminds you of that particular memory, and you give your inspiration up to that memory, and every time you are creating, you see that object, it's like bringing something else to mind again. Fashion has really helped me to speak without talking, and I think, like I said previously, it's like you're asking me a question I've answered before. It has not changed me in a bad way. The only thing I really have issues with in fashion is you actually have to invest to have a good wardrobe, right? You have to invest to have a good wardrobe. And the other part is you make a slight error about the way you dress, it could ruin your day. There are times that happened to me before. There are times that happened to me before. Days I was not so conscious about what I was wearing, or days I didn't take note. I actually had a bad day. So I think it actually is like that for everyone, except if you're not a sensitive person. Because there are sensitive people don't know that one thing that could actually be messing up their day is actually the way they dress. And they won't know that because they're insensitive and they think clothes really have nothing to do with your day. So yeah. I am Mona, the freelance fashion designer, and I own the brand Mona Christian. I look forward to a Nigeria of a more fashion conscious youth, and I hope we all learn to remember that our dressing has a lot to do with our mental stability, confidence, and personality development. And I also look forward to an healthy and sustainable fashion industry in Nigeria.